Good morning. Continuation of our subject in microeconomics. Chapter 3, we will discuss on elasticity and its uses. First, let us define what is elasticity. It says here that it is a general concept that can be used to quantify the response in one variable when another variable changes. So basically, it is the measurement or the quantified measurement of one variable, say the demand, in response to the changes in price and the quantity. So magkakasama yung tatlong yon. Ano yung relation ng changes ng demand, or ano yung relation, or may relation ba yung changes of the price sa changes ng demand, and at the same time the changes in quantity. So how elastic these three are when it comes to changes. So let's see. So one is, first we have the price elasticity of demand. So what is price elasticity of demand? It is the ratio of the percentage of change in quantity demanded to the percentage of change in price. Measures the responsiveness of quantity demanded to change in price. So yun nga, no? How are these two connected? The demand and the price. What is the connection of the changes in demand to the changes in price, or what is the connection in the changes of price in connection to the changes in demand? So how to compute the PED, or the price elasticity of demand? To compute, just look for the percent change in quantity demanded excuse me, over percent change in price. So to convert it in numericals, we have here an example. Percent price elasticity of demand. Say we have product A. So the original price of product A is 5 pesos. And the quantity demanded for that price is 1,000 pieces. For a price of 5 pesos, the quantity demanded is 1,000 pieces. Now the following month, or the following 2 months, the price rises to 6 pesos. And the new quantity now is 800 pieces. So we will now look for the elasticity of price in connection to the demand. So let's look first for the change in demand. The change in demand is, of course, negative 200. Elasticity of demand is always negative, since the demand always tends to go down if there's a price increase. Parati siyang negative. Yun yung rule doon. The change in demand, or the elasticity of demand, is always negative. Parati siyang sa paliit. Pag nag-price increase, naturally, ang tendency ng demand is mabawasan. So pag nabawasan, negative siya. So the change in demand is 200. So to compute for the percent change in demand, we have 200. Okay, negative 200 over the original price, or divided by the original price, which is 1,000. Negative 200, dito siya galing, no? 1,000 minus 800, or 800. So ganito yun, no? 800 minus 1,000. Pag ganun yung pagko-compute nun, kaya siya lumalabas sa negative. Uunahin mo lagi yung new price, or the P2, bago yung P1. Or the Q1 bago yung Q2, or the D1 bago yung D2. Okay? The D2 is 800, the D1 is 1,000. So bakit nangyaring 200? D2, demand 2 minus D1, it will give you 200 over 1,000, which is D1. Okay, so parang ang computation yan is D2 minus D1 over D1 will give you negative 20. Ganun din sa price. Q1, or the P1 is 5 pesos, or the price 1 is 5 pesos. The P2, or the price 2, is 6 pesos. Okay? 6 minus 5, ganun din. 6 minus 5 is equal to 1 divided by or over the original price, which is 5 pesos. It will give you positive 2. So, to simplify, percent change in quantity demanded over percent change in price, negative 20. Yon, negative 20 over 2. Yon, positive 2. It will give you negative 10, or drop the negative sign kasi understood na naman siya na parati siya negative. Drop the negative sign and it will give you, or the absolute value of 10. Okay? So the price elasticity of the price elasticity demand for this situation, or for this problem, is 10. Okay? So how can we say that the price is elastic or inelastic or unitary in price? If the value of PED, or the price elasticity of demand, this is the value. This is the value. Okay? This is the overall value. Final answer. If the price is more than 1, it is elastic. So how can we say that the price is elastic? It means that the change in demand is more than the change in price. Change in demand is more than the change in price. Mas malaki yung pagbabago ng demand, o mas malaki yung mas mataas yung fluctuation ng demand compare sa fluctuation ng price. If that's the case, we can conclude that the price is elastic. Paano naman yung inelastic price, or price inelasticity? If it's less than 1, in this case, it's less than 1 or negative. Dinarap na lang natin yung negative sign kasi understood na siya. Pero the actual answer is negative 10. So in this case, price is inelastic, less than 1. Change in demand is less than change in price. So how about unitary price? Unitary price is equal to 1. Kung gaano kalaki yung pagbabago sa demand, say for instance, nagkaroon ng 1,000 change in demand or 100 change in demand, value of 100, ganun din yung change sa price. Magkasabay sila. Dito, nagkaroon ng value ng 50, change in demand, sa change in price, 30 lang. Mas malaki yung change in demand. Dito, nagkaroon ng 30 change in demand, or dito nagkaroon ng 50 change in demand and 40 change in price, or 30 change in price. Dito naman 30, sa price is 50. So mas mababa yung demand compared sa price. So, why is the price elasticity demand important? If PED is more than 1, or price is elastic, then a change in P, change in price, will cause a larger change in demand. Overall revenues would increase with a price cut. So, mamaya makikita natin yung discussion about revenue. Overall revenues would fall with the price increase. The opposite is true with price elasticity demand is less than 1. So, opposite siya ng price inelastic. So, what are the factors that could influence PED? Syempre, brand strength. Products with strong brand tends to be inelastic. Okay? So, ano ba yung sabi dito sa ano? Ulitin natin. Ano ba yung inelastic? Change in demand is less than change in price. Kumbaga, nagbago yung presyo, pero hindi pa rin ganun kababa yung pagbabago sa demand. Yun yung sinasabi na inelastic. Ano? Nagbago man yung presyo niya, pero yung demand hindi masyado naapektuhan. Like for instance, the Apple products or the Apple iPhone. Okay, every year tumataas ang presyo ng Apple products, but in a sense, hindi nababago yung demand, or kung may pagbabago man, konting-konti lang. Ano, mas mataas yung pagbabago sa price compare sa pagbabago ng demand. Bakit nagkakaganon? Ang isang produkto o isang service pwede magkaganon if meron siyang brand strength. Okay? Ang Apple products trusted na when it comes to quality and brand. So, hindi siya ganun ka-affected. Yung nga sabi ko, although tumataas yung presyo ng isang produkto, it doesn't mean na bababa din yung demand. May mga situation na tumataas yung presyo, bumababa ang demand, pero konting-konti lang. In that situation, we can say that the price or the product is inelastic or necessity. Ayan. Pag mahalaga yung isang bagay, okay? Pag talagang vital siya sa survival ng isang human being, kahit pa sabihin na tumaas ang presyo, hindi maapektuhan yung demand, or kung maapektuhan man, konting-konti lang. Okay? If it's habitual, products that are highly demanded, not consumed, products that are highly demanded and consumed tends to be inelastic. Okay, erase ko lang to. Ayan. R. Are inelastic. Basta yun na yun. Okay. Products that are highly demanded and consumed are inelastic. Availability of substitutes, so ganun din. So what are the cases naman na masasabi mo na elastic yung demand? Ulitin natin, what is elastic in nature? Sabi dito, elastic in nature is change in demand is more than the change in price. So, mas malaki yung pagbabago sa demand or mas malaki yung pagbagsak ng demand kumpara sa pagtaas ng presyo. Dito, mababa yung pagbagsak ng demand kumpara sa taas ng presyo. Dito, mataas ang pagbagsak ng demand kumpara sa pagtaas ng presyo. So, bakit nagkakaganon? Madaming substitutes. Ang isang produkto, pag madaming substitutes at pag nagtaas ka ng presyo, asahan mo na mga consumers hahanap ng ibang alternative na giving the same quality. Okay? So, ang isang produkto, pag tinaas mo ng bahagya, may mga products kasi na pag tumaas ang bahagya, ang tendency, malaki yung ibaba sa demand. Bakit? Kasi ang dami mong pwedeng pagpilian. Subukan mong itaas yung product A. Okay? Yung product A, subukan mong itaas, meron siyang alternative na product B. Okay? Tinaas mo ang presyo, sa konting pagtaas ang presyo na yon, ang laki na binaba sa demand. Bakit? Kasi meron siyang alternative product. Okay? So, isa sa availability or isa sa nakakaapekto ng demand is the choices na meron or the availability of alternative products. So, how can we calculate percentage change? Another factor that can be used in determining the PEG is calculating the percentage change. So, how do you calculate it? Percent change in quantity demanded is equal to change in quantity demanded times 100, baseline 100, over Q1 or the original quantity. So, meron ditong Q2 minus Q1 over Q1 times 100. Initial quantity over new quantity over initial quantity times 100. So, tingnan natin. Sa price, ganun din. Sa demand, tsaka sa price, iisa yung formula. Percent change in price, in calculating the percentage change in price, okay, change in price times 100 over previous price. Okay, previous price or present price or new price minus the old price over the old price times 100. So, isimplify natin sa numerical. So, mayroon example dito. The regional price of a hamburger is 25 pesos with a demand of 120. Okay? Nung 25 pesos, ang presyo ng hamburger, meron siyang demand na 120. After 5 months, the price increased to 28 and demand fell down to 90. So the problem is calculate the percent change in demand versus the percent and the change price or the percent change in price. Let's see. Doon muna tayo sa percent change in demand. Sabi nga natin, the percent change in demand is always negative since the tendency of demand is to fall down or to become negative. Once the price increase, mababawasan yung demand. So, yung pagbawas na yun tends to be negative. So, the new price is, or the initial price, or the initial quantity demanded is 120. And the new quantity demanded, or the new demand is 90. So, here, ito siya. Q2 minus Q1. Q2 is 90. Ayon. Q2 is 90. Q1 is 120. 90 minus 120 over the original quantity, which is 120 times 100. It will give you negative 30. As I have mentioned, it is always negative. Negative 30 over 120 times 100. The answer is negative 0.25 times 100 again. It will give you 25%. Change in price naman, meron tayong 28 for the P2 and the P1 is 25. Ito siya. This is P1 and this is P2. 25 P1. 28 P2. 28 minus 25 P2 minus P1 over P1 times 100. It will give you 3 over 25. The answer is 0.12 or 12%. So in this situation, okay, in this problem, the percent change in demand is 25% and the percent change in price is 12%. Okay? So, yun. Madali lang siya. So, naman itong midpoint formula. It is a more precise way of calculating percentages using the value halfway between P1 and P2 for the base in calculating the percentage change in price and the value halfway between Q1 and Q2 as the base for calculating the percentage change in quantity demanded. So, medyo mahaba itong formula na to. Tingnan natin para mas maintindihan natin. So, sabi dito, percent change in quantity over percent change in price is equal to change in quantity over average quantity. Change in quantity over average quantity divided by change in price over average price. So, medyo mahaba. Let's see. So, we have here an example. The initial price of 10 pesos, the quantity demanded is 100. At the initial price of 10 pesos, ang quantity demanded niya is 100. So, when the price rises to 20, the quantity dropped to 90. So, what is the elasticity? So, what is the quantity change? Or change in quantity? Q2 minus Q1. Okay? Q2 is 90, Q1 is 100. Q2 minus Q1 over the total here, the total or the average quantity. The average quantity is 90 plus 100 divided by 2. So, i-divide mo lagi siya sa 2 as it represents the Q2 and the Q1. Pagsasamahin mo siya and then divide it by 2. That's the average quantity. Para makuha mo yung average quantity. Okay? So, Q2 less Q1 over Q2 plus Q1 divided by 2. It will give you 10 over 95 90 divided by 10, negative 10 over 95. This is 190 divided by 2. It will give you 95. Negative 10 divided by 95, it will give you negative 0.105. Tama ba ako? Paki-check na lang kung mali, no? Pero ito yun. Negative 0.105 or 105 in absolute form. Over, hindi pa siya tapos. Meron pa siya sa price naman. This is for quantity alone. Diba sabi natin, in correlation with the quantity and the price. Yun yung midpoint formula. Okay? In correlation, the quantity demanded, anong correlation niya sa price ng quantity demanded? This is just for the quantity demanded. Kunin naman natin ngayon yung price. Okay? So, sabi dito, P1 is 10 pesos and P2 is 20 pesos. So, ganun din. P2 less than P1. Okay? Over average price divided by 2. 20 divided by 20 less 10, it will give you 10. And 20 plus 10 divided by 2, it will give you 15. So, the answer here is negative 0.105. The answer here is 0.666. Pag divide mo sila, it will give you an answer of negative 0.158 or simply 158. So, for this situation, okay, the demand elasticity is 0.158. Okay? So, madali naman. Basta i-follow nyo lang yung formula. This one. Ayan. Maintindihan nyo na siya. Another factor that involves in elasticity is the revenue. So, mahalaga din siya makita. Sabi nga natin, magkakasama sila. The price, the demand, or the quantity, plus the revenue. The revenue is also important para makita natin kung kikita ba tayo or hindi. Okay? Tingnan natin. So, sabi dito, revenue is equal to price plus quantity sold. So, kung magkano yung presyo, halimbawa, meron akong 10 pirasong tinapay for a price of 2 pesos each. So, my revenue is 20 pesos. Okay, the price of 2 pesos times the number of bread equals the revenue. So, effect on price increase on a product with inelastic demand. Tingnan muna natin yung sa inelastic demand. Ano ba yung epekto ng presyo sa revenue pag ang isang product is inelastic? Tingnan natin. Wait, nagkagulo. Okay, if the price tends to increase a lot, okay, if the price increase is high, but the quantity demanded is naapektuhan siya, okay, sabihin natin naapektuhan yung quantity demanded, bumaba siya, pero hindi siya ganun kababa, okay, hindi siya ganun kababa compared sa pagtaas ng price, still the revenue would be high. Okay? Ganun nga yung nangyayari sa Apple product, ano? Tumaas yung presyo niya. Okay? Tumaas mo ng presyo, may mga umayaw, pero konting-konti lang yung mga umayaw na yon. Hindi siya ganun, kumbaga, hindi siya naka-apekto or kung naka-apekto man sa kinikita ng Apple, konting-konti lang. Still, the revenue of the Apple products would be high. Price increase much, quantity demanded fall by just a little, still the revenue would be high. If this is the case, we can say that the demand is inelastic. Bakit? Kasi there are instances na kahit tumaas ang presyo, talagang mabili yung produkto na yon, like the Apple products or Samsung, mabili yung product nila, tumaas man ang presyo, bumaba man yung demand, konti lang, syempre, kikita pa rin yung company. So, tingnan natin. So, I have here an example. Revenue is high, meron pa rin siyang kinita compared sa pagbagsak ng quantity. Price tends to increase much. Quantity demanded fall down by just a little bit. May revenue pa din. Tingnan natin in a graph. So we have here the price and the quantity demanded. Okay? Initially, for a price of $10, the quantity is 100. For a price of $10, ang quantity na ang quantity na nabebenta is 100. Okay? So magkano kita niya? 10 times 100 is 1,000. And then the following month, nag-increase ng $20, yung dating $10 naging $20, bumaba ngayon yung demand. Pero yung pagbaba na yun, konting-konti lang. By just a fraction. Hindi siya ganun kadami yung pagbaba ng demand. Still, the revenue would be 20. Nag-fall lang siya sa 90. 20 divided by 90 or 20 times 90, may kita pa rin siya. 1,800. If you will notice, dun sa mas malaking demand, okay, lumiit yung demand, lumaki pa rin yung revenue. Pansinin nyo, 1,000 dito, tumaas yung presyo, bumaba ang demand, still lumaki pa rin yung revenue. Bakit? Kasi kung i-ratio natin, kung i-offset natin yung pagtaas ng presyo kumpara sa pagbaba ng demand, mas lamang na lamang yung pagtaas ng presyo. So dun sa dun sa mga bumili pa rin ng product na yon, nabawi yung kawalan. And instead na bumaba yung revenue, mas tumaas pa. Okay, so this is a good marketing strategy. If you were the owner of a company, this is a good marketing strategy. Bumaba yung demand mo, still nahabol mo pa rin in terms of revenue. Mas kumita ka pa. Another thing is, so revenues fall as prices rises with elastic demand. The opposite naman to, ano? So, revenues fall, definitely kasi pag bumaba yung revenue or pag tumaas sa elastic kasi, ang elastic kasi, balikan natin yung sinabi ko kanina, no? Those products that tend to be elastic in demand are those products na madaming substitute. Okay? So, pag ito, tinaasa mo ng presyo, ang tendency, madaming maglilipatan sa ibang alternative products. So, mawawala yung malaking porsyento ng bumibili sa'yo. Mawawala yung malaking porsyento ng demand sa'yo. Kasi your price is, or your product is elastic. Or the product itself is, the product itself has many competitors. Like this one, for instance. Nagtaas ka ng konting-konting presyo lang. Yan, as you can see here, napakaliit lang ng presyong itinaas mo. Okay? But the quantity fell down sa napakalaki. Okay? Sa napakalaking amount or sa napakalaking degree, masyadong bumaba yung quantity mo compared sa pagtaas yung price, masyadong malaki yung ibinaba yung quantity, definitely yung kikitain mo bumaba din. Okay? Hindi gaya dito. Tumaas yung presyo mo, maliit lang yung quantity demanded, definitely may revenue ka pa din kahit papano. But here, tinaas mo yung presyo by just a fraction, madaming na turn off sa product mo kasi bakit pa ako bibili niyan? Madami naman ako pwedeng mabibili na produkto with a much lower price. Madaming lumipat na consumer, naapektuhan yung demand mo, bumaba yung revenue mo. This one, let's take a look. So here we have a very flat curve when it comes to demand. We have the price and the quantity. Okay? So meron tayo ditong for a price of same price scenario, $10 and $20 and $50 and $250. For a price of $10, ang nag-generate is 250 demand generated. Okay? Kumita siya ng 10 by 250 is 2,500. Now, this is the problem, no? Nung nagtaas siya ng price, sabi nga natin kanina, masyadong bumaba yung quantity demanded. The moment na nagtaas siya ng price, masyadong bumaba yung quantity demanded. From 250, naging 50 lang, ang layo ng jump, ang layo ng nilakdaw. From 250, naging 50 lang, ang laki ng binaba ng kanyang revenue. 20 divided by 50 is 1,000 na lang. So, lugi siya nun. Okay, so maganda din tong elasticity kasi nakikita mo yung, kumbaga, this is a good measurement or good barometer when it comes to forecasting. Usually kasi ginagamit ang elasticity when it comes to forecasting. Doon mo makikita yung pwedeng possible scenario pag nagtaas tayo ng presyo or pag nagbaba tayo ng presyo. So maganda siya in terms of forecasting. Okay? So that's it. That's the end of the chapter, elasticity of demand. So I hope you have learned something. So yung mga problems na yun, pwede nyo balikan. Anyway, ipapasa ko naman sa inyo itong PowerPoint presentation. And after this, siyempre may mga problems ulit tayo na exercises na gagawin. Please watch the video and makinig sa explanation. Kung may hindi naintindihan, pwede kayo mag-comment. And thank you for watching and listening. Have a good day.